the Navy, you kind of got to see that dark side of all the guys from SEAL training not making it. And you got to see that kind of dark side of Navy recruiting, which is not even letting them go to the training. All right, folks, we got Luke on here trying to be an EOD guy, got to boot camp, legs fell off, found himself in a predicament. We're going to talk about how the Navy does it. Once you step onto those duck feet in boot camp, you are theirs. You cannot leave. So what they do is they get you there knowing you're not going to qualify for your job. About midway through boot camp, towards the end, they tell you, oh, you're disqualified medically. You got to pick a new rate. It's a Navy ploy. It's a dirty one.
My name is Luke. I am from southern Wisconsin, kind of northern Illinois. Navy ended up coming to my high school, talking to us, and Kool-Aid, and because the Air Force recruiter was like join or don't, obtaining an EOD contract.
What were your grades in high school?
I was pretty much straight A's, AP classes, whole deal. Probably worked out for over a year before I left for like 9 hours a day. I was probably running like 60 miles a week before I left. I'd swim probably 2 miles a day. I lifted weights for a few hours a day. I did a bunch of calisthenics.
Hopefully someone hears this and they're like, oh man, I don't want to make that mistake.
I got to basic. Right when I went, they started the 10-week program. We were integrated as well. It wasn't really fair to females that we were with because they were kind of putting them in a bad situation with us. I mean, it was about half my division was diver and EOD. It seemed like they put diver and EOD together, and then they put a SWIC and SEAL candidates together, going 1,000 miles an hour all the time into basically crawling. There was no reason that they needed to move it to 10 weeks. We spent a lot of our time just kind of sitting and waiting. And then after that, so my first 4 weeks were pretty normal. The first week, you're just kind of settling in, learning everything. That was like, I think they call it P days. And then after that, I got a call after the special medicine, because everyone that had spec war contracts, and then if they were going on a submarine or some sort of airframe, we went to like a separate medical thing to get screened further. And that dropped probably 5 guys. Like, they found out one guy had a hole in his heart. And then I got called back, and I did wrestling in high school too. So I had a waiver for this, keep in mind. I went to a doctor, and the doctor at MEPS said that I was good. And they said that they were going to leave my EOD contract up for review to some sort of board, but because of my one concussion.
If you guys got a great story about the military, you got a story where you didn't make it, you went to training and you didn't make one of the pipelines, reach out, man. With these guys that don't quite make it are sharing gold with us, much more so than the guys that make it.
But he got his pulled for vision, but they ended up taking his contract, and he had a waiver for that as well. That happened to half of the other guys that had some sort of contract like that in my division for one various reason or the other. Some injury, something they kind of passed but kind of didn't. Stuff that I have seen people kind of get it brushed under the rug for in the past, they were not doing anymore.
But the thing that I don't like, and this is what I've been saying, man, all you're doing is making dissenters and guys that are going to be mad about the situation. You should have just told them, hey, man, we can't give you an EOD contract before they enlisted.
Absolutely.
Because then they might have been able to go to the Army and get an EOD contract or somewhere else. Like, I had a girl on my ship, man. They told her she was going to be an education person. She was going to run education in the Navy. And she's in deck division ship and paint for me with a master's degree. She cried every day, man. Every day she was bawling. I'm like, what?
I got to the point where I couldn't use stairs anymore. And I got moved around to a couple other divisions to try and give me a couple days, maybe, just if I needed it to get better, and it just kept getting worse. So then I got sent to, at the time, I think that was ship 2, to RCU, basically just to heal up. I got locked in the room of Uncle Sam's Forgotten Toys, and about a month lost my mind just sitting there staring at paint. However, I had been seeing they were doing that a lot to a lot of people.
What do you mean denying that you had anything wrong?
They wouldn't give me an answer either way. They wouldn't tell me.
I would have demanded an answer, right? Like, because they're not trying to put it in your medical record because they don't want to pay you VA disability.
So they did send me for a bone scan, and I asked the doctor a question, and he turned the screen away. They said basically it would light up like a neon sign if you had fractures, and it looked pretty neon to me. Compared to I don't know the bone in the shin, whatever the name is of that, but the bone above it, it was not nearly as bright. I've been working so much since I got back. I'm trying to kind of take my own course with it now, and I'm not going to let that stop me. I sat in RCU for a while, and then I'm not a person that does well sitting doing nothing. I'm very much a busybody. I need to keep moving. So I ended up talking to a doctor who sent me over to, I guess, the mental health guy. And they, at that point, I guess they ended up giving me the choice of leaving or staying. And at that point, I was very disgruntled. I was very mad. The situation that I was put in, to where no one was willing to talk to me. No one was willing to explain to me what was going on. It was basically shut up, sit down, and do what you're told.
That is more common than people understand, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like, I want people to understand, like, look, man, we trying to get the truth out there. You know, you show up out there and they start playing Mickey Mouse games. Like, they're trying to get you out the Navy with as least pain as possible. So, you know, in your case, like, if you had called me and said, hey, Jake, I'd have been like, look, man, here's the deal. Go in there and tell them you're not leaving until you get your medical record, right? I'm allowed to see my diagnosis as a sailor, right? I want to see my diagnosis. What is it? Okay. Like, that would help you out. The other thing, you know, I would have told you is like, look, go find some work, right? Go over to the dive motivators and say, hey, man, listen, but you weren't walking very well either, right?
No, I wasn't. I was on crutches, but what I did end up doing once I got to separation, I was able to get a hold of kind of just followed him around the entire time I was there and was fixing stuff because they had an inspection coming up with a bunch of brass and they were not going to pass that. That worked out pretty good. I got special treatment and stuff like that because I helped them out that way and they made my life very easy while I was in separations where, when you're in a room full of drug pops and less than desirables who are kind of getting kicked out for not doing what they were told, that was very nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. I tell everybody, you got to get away from all them people, man, because it's a cesspool of bad thinking, negativity, and just drag you down to the bottom with them tied to the anchor, you know?
My thing is I have a very bad taste in my mouth from the military, but I don't want that to be everyone else's. You know, I met some of the best people that I've ever met while I was there, and I want it to be a good experience for everyone who does go. So I just want to make sure people understand, you know, like going to the Navy, it's great if you want some sort of a technical training or some technical field. Right now, I mean, unless we go to war and you want to hold a gun, that's not the place to go.
Right. Like if you're trying to be SEAL right now, and I got a SEAL right now that's getting out. I told him, I said, man, listen, you probably should go in the Army. You can at least go overseas, do some real work, see some stuff. He's like, Jake, we haven't done shit in 6 years. I'm out. And I'm like, yeah, I know. So what are you doing now, Luke?
So right now, so it's in kind of like the field of metrology. I certify clean rooms, anything from where they make eye drops to cancer medication in hospitals and factories and stuff like that. That's what I did before I joined the Navy. In like the time between, it was just so my wife just started her new job. She is a heavy equipment operator, and we're kind of letting her get her feet wet with that, and then when she's secure in that, because she's a brand new apprentice, when she's kind of more secure in that, I'm going to hop over, I'm going to get my CDL and either do something in electrical or...
All right, let's go, man. That's a lot of money in lineman work. I got a lineman down in Georgia.
Okay.
Good dude, first Ranger bad dude. Played football for me at Catholic way back in the day. He's funny as shit, man. He a lineman, run lines all day. He got out. He works for a private company now. He was working for the power line company. He said, but all they do is want you to work overtime all the time. He's like, I don't want to work 80 hours a week. I don't care how much money I make.
I got an R3. Because of everything I did to kind of help out the ship before I left. Yeah. And then because I did get hurt, I thought a lot of because I think they call them UCs when they're not actively instructing or instead, pushing divisions. Okay. They felt bad for a lot of us. They recognized how we were getting fucked over, more or less. And they felt bad, and they said, don't let this stop you, from anything. And they were encouraging a lot of us to come back because they had seen the other brighter side of the Navy, not the dark one that I got.
Have you filed your VA claim?
I have not. No.
What are you waiting on?
No, I just haven't done it. I don't have an excuse.
Okay, so listen, I'm gonna tell you this: every month you're missing $4,400. Every month. Would $4,400 help you out?
Absolutely. I mean, it's...
Listen, man, these women right now are running this scam in boot camp where they file 3 sexual assault claims and then they get out of boot camp. Yep. They get out of boot camp and then they get 100% disability. That's the whole scam. That's the whole reason they're in boot camp is to get 100% disability. Do not pay anybody to do shit with your VA claim. And then if you need any help, give me a call. I'll tell you exactly what to say. Hey, man, as always, if you enjoyed the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. We are doing so much greatness out there. I want you guys to take a second. Make sure you go check out the Discord. The Discord is growing exponentially. We are adding components to it every week. Oh, my gosh. So much gold over there. It's amazing. As always, check out Wednesday night Discord, 7 p.m. Central. We got the recruiting corner. We are now recruiting Army officers, as well as Army warrant officers, as well as Savage E-Dogs. And shout out to Staff Sergeant Shell. He was the 18 X-Ray Recruiter of the Year last year. Boy, don't come on here if you don't want to be great.